My phone lights up at 12:03 a.m. with a text that is not meant for me. Do not let him leave. It says, keep Jonathan Mercer in the lot until the pattern finishes. My full name sits there like a thumbprint. Jonathan Mercer. No greeting. No number I recognize. Just that. I am already gripping the steering wheel hard enough to ache. The rural church rises out of the dark like a ship run aground. White clapboard and a narrow steeple. The parking lot is mostly gravel with a few broken asphalt strips near the entrance. The only lights are two weak poles that leave the far edges in thick shadow. I am not here for church. I am here because my sister asked me to check on our mother. She missed 2 calls and left the oven on last week. The church is where mom goes for the midnight prayer circle when she cannot sleep. She says it helps her breathe. I hate that I believe her. I put the phone down, tell myself it is a wrong number, and pull into a space near the side door. The engine ticks as it cools. The air smells like cold dirt and pine sap. Somewhere beyond the tree line a dog barks once and stops, as if it catches itself. The lot is full enough to make me uneasy. Too many cars for a midnight prayer circle. Sedans, pickups, a couple of vans, all parked with odd precision as if someone measured the angles. I do not see people moving. I do not see the glow of cigarettes. I do not see the swing of flashlights. I check the windows of the church. Dark. My phone vibrates again. Another text from the same unknown number. Do not answer the horns. Do not count out loud. My skin tightens. I glance around, and a first car alarm goes off. A sharp electronic wail slices the lot, then cuts. A beat later another alarm starts from the far end near the trees. It runs for the same short burst and stops. Then another closer to me. Same duration, same tone, same clean cutoff. It is not chaos. It is not a coincidence. It is a sequence. I sit still, listening. The alarms continue, one after another, never overlapping, spacing themselves like metronome clicks. The sound moves through the parked cars in a path I can almost trace without looking. Far corner, middle row, near the entrance. Back again. My mouth dries. I watch the shadows between the vehicles for movement. For a person with a remote, a prankster. Not them. Then my own car alarm blares. The sound fills the cab and vibrates in my ribs. My hands jerk to the key fob. I hit unlock. The alarm stops instantly. In the sudden quiet, I hear another alarm begin, right on cue, as if my interruption is expected and accounted for. That is when I feel the heat. Something in my pocket warms, slow at first like a coin held too long, then distinctly hot. I dig my hand into my jacket and pull out a key. I do not recognize it. It is a plain silver key, older style, with a squared head and a shallow groove down the blade. No key ring, no tag. It looks clean, like it has never been used. It should not be in my pocket. It is warm, almost comforting, like it has been sitting in the sun. Except it is midnight and I have been in the car for 30 minutes with the heat off. I stare at it while the alarms keep singing around me. The pattern shifts. The spacing changes slightly, not random, but like a phrase being repeated with new emphasis. I find myself leaning forward, trying to anticipate the next verse. My phone buzzes again. If you hear your name, do not look up. My throat tightens. I toss the phone onto the passenger seat as if it burns. I tell myself to leave, to start the engine and drive back down the long road lined with bare trees and frost. I reach for the ignition. The key in my pocket pulses with heat, and my fingers pause. Not from pain, from a feeling that the warmth is a grip. Outside, the alarms keep going. At first, I think they are just alarms, but then the tones start to separate in my mind. Some are higher, some lower. Some have a quick stutter. Some have a longer tail, like different voices forcing themselves into the same kind of scream. I remember something I read years ago about how the brain finds patterns in noise, how it turns random sound into meaning when it wants to. A radio static that seems to whisper, a fan that seems to say your name. This is not that. This is too deliberate. I roll down the window a few inches. The cold air rushes in, carrying the alarms more clearly, stripping away the muffling of glass. The sound feels closer, almost physical, like fingers tapping my teeth. I listen. The sequence repeats, and I realize it is doing something like spelling. Long burst, short burst, short burst. Pause, short, long, short, pause. The same groups come back. My mind drifts to Morse code without my permission. I tell myself I am being dramatic. Car alarms cannot do Morse. They are not precise enough. Yet the bursts are consistent. Identical lengths, identical pauses. Across the lot, a dome light flicks on in a pickup, then off. A movement behind the windshield, quick and startled. Someone else is awake in their car. Someone else is hearing this. I am not alone. Another alarm starts, and the group of bursts lands in my chest like a sentence ending. The key in my hand warms again, more intensely, as if reacting to the sound. I hold it up to the faint light from the pole. It is not discolored. It is not glowing. It is just warm. My mother texts me. I am inside. Do not come in. No punctuation. No heart emoji. Nothing like her usual messages. My pulse jumps. I type back. Are you okay? Where are you? 3 dots appear, then vanish. The alarms continue. The church remains dark. I call her. It rings once and goes to voicemail. My phone screen reflects my face, pale and too intent. I feel like I am being watched from every windshield. The unknown number sends another text. She gave you the key. That is why it knows you. I look back at the key. The warmth seems to come from inside it, not from my skin. I try to remember if mom ever pressed a key into my hand. Maybe earlier, years ago, after dad died, when she started locking things that never used to be locked. The old cedar chest, the file cabinet, the small door at the back of the church that she once told me was only for maintenance. The side door near my parking spot sits in shadow, its knob barely catching the weak light. The alarms change again, and my stomach drops as if the ground tilts. Now 2 alarms answer each other from opposite ends of the lot, like a call and response. One high, one low. The rest join in, not overlapping, but weaving. The pattern becomes more complex, a braid of sound, and suddenly, in in the middle of it, I hear something that is not an alarm. A voice. It is faint, like it is coming through a cheap speaker. It rides on top of the siren tones, surfacing between bursts. My hands go cold. I freeze, listening harder. The voice is not outside. It is inside the sound. It says something that could be a word, broken into pieces. A syllable hidden in the rise of the wail, another in the cutoff. The pattern slows, as if giving me time. My brain fills in the gaps. Nope. I shake my head, but the sense of it remains. The sound is shaping itself into language. Not by random chance, but by design. My phone vibrates, and I do not want to look, but I do. It is almost your turn to hear it clearly. My mouth tastes like metal. I glance at the pickup where the dome light flashed earlier. The driver's side window lowers slightly. A man's face appears, lit by his phone screen. He looks around wildly, then his gaze locks on me. He raises his phone, as if to show me something, or to film. The alarms snap into a new phrase. My own car alarm starts again without warning. I slam the fob. It stops. The moment it stops, the other alarms resume, as if my car is a missing note that is allowed to speak only when instructed. I try the ignition again. The engine does not turn over. The dashboard lights come on, normal, bright, but the starter is dead silent. No click. No straw ball. Just nothing. My breath catches. I try again. Still nothing. The key in my pocket is now hot enough that I have to shift it between fingers. Outside, the pattern continues and the voice within it becomes clearer. Not louder, but sharper, like my ears are being tuned. I hear a name. Not mine. A woman's name. Soft and pleading. My mother's voice. It is not her voice as she speaks to me on the phone. It is her voice as she sounded when I was a child and she thought I was asleep, praying in the kitchen late at night. A voice scraped thin by fear and fate. She says, John. Just once. I jerk upright. The unknown text warned me not to look up if I hear my name, but my eyes lift anyway, compelled. Every car in the lot flashes its headlights at the same time. A white wash of light sweeps across the gravel and trees, and for a fraction of a second I see it. Figures standing between the cars. Not shadows, not people moving. Still shapes, too still, arranged in the gaps as if placed there. Their faces are turned toward me. Their arms hang straight down. Their clothes look like church clothes, dark coats and long skirts. Then the lights go out. Darkness drops back in, thick and immediate. My heart hammers so hard I feel it in my throat. I squeeze my eyes shut, then open them, expecting to see movement, running, people rushing my car. Nothing, only the alarms continuing their clean, orderly bursts. I force myself to breathe. I grab my phone and turn on the flashlight. The beam cuts through the windshield and lands on empty gravel. Empty spaces, no figures, but the beam catches something else. A line of keys. Dozens of them, laid on the ground between the cars, each one glinting faintly. They form a trail that leads from the edge of the lot toward the side door of the church. My stomach turns. The key in my pocket burns hotter, as if it wants to join them. My phone buzzes again. Follow the keys. She cannot speak over the pattern much longer. I type with shaking fingers. Who are you? The reply comes instantly. I am the one who learned to listen. The alarms keep spelling. I am sure of it now. The groups repeat with small changes, like someone correcting pronunciation. The voice under it whispers in fragments, syllables caught and released. I hear clearer now my mother saying, do not. Then the next cycle, do not come. Then, do not come inside. The words are broken, stitched out of siren and silence, but they land in my mind with certainty. I stare at the side door. The knob is still. The window above it is black. My hands tremble around the warm key. I consider getting out. I consider staying in the car until morning. I consider running down the road on foot. Then, from somewhere behind me, a car door closes. The sound is close, too close, like it is right outside my back seat. I twist in my seat, flashlight beam swinging across the interior and out the rear window. In the narrow cone of light, I see a man standing behind my car. He is facing the church, not me. His posture is stiff, as if he is listening. His hands are at his sides. He wears a dark coat. I cannot see his face. He takes one step forward, toward the trail of keys. The alarm shift, and in the shift I hear my own name again, this time not spoken by my mother. It is spoken by the pattern itself, Jonathan Mercer. Each syllable is carved out of horn and cut off, impossibly precise. The sound seems to come from everywhere at once, from every car, from the air. The key in my hand flares with heat, and I gasp, almost dropping it. The man behind my car turns his head slightly, as if the name is a command. My phone vibrates one more time. Now you understand. Do not let him leave. I look at the man, then at the dark church door, then at the line of keys leading into that darkness. My mother's voice slips through the pattern again, thin and urgent. John, please. The man reaches the first key on the ground and bends to pick it up. My car doors unlock with a loud clack I did not trigger, and the side door of the church swings inward, slow and welcoming, even though no one touches it. The alarms stop all at once, leaving a silence so complete it hurts. In that silence, something inside the church breathes out, like it has been holding its lungs full for a long time. The warm key in my hand cools suddenly, as if it is satisfied. The man straightens with the key he picked up and begins walking toward the open door. My body moves before my thoughts catch up, and I step out into the cold, gravel crunching under my shoes, my own key clenched tight as the darkness inside the church seems to lean forward to meet us.